Hey, what's for dinner? It looks like today we're having shrimp scampi. Shrimp scampi is an easy 30-minute meal, and I would like to welcome you back to the DIY home cook. My kitchen isn't big or fancy, but it sure does get the job done in producing a lot of delicious food. Shrimp scampi uses just a few ingredients to produce a restaurant quality meal for your family or to impress your friends. Hey friends, let's get started cooking. As with all pasta dishes, the first step is to fill up a pot with cold filtered water, add salt, and then turn it on high. While I'm waiting for the water, I can get all my ingredients gathered and prepped. Like I said, shrimp scampi only requires a few ingredients: garlic, butter, olive oil, lemon. Actually, it's lemon juice. We're going to juice that lemon, and some fresh parsley, pasta of your choice, and of course shrimp. I also add chicken stock to my shrimp scampi. It helps to add to the sauce, and it cuts down on adding more butter or more olive oil, so it kind of helps cut the calories a little bit and makes it a little tiny bit healthier. And I also do not use wine in my shrimp scampi. You can absolutely, and I will let you know when you can add if you want to use wine, to add the wine. My husband does not like wine added to his pasta dishes. He just does not like the flavor, so I have just eliminated wine in my cooking for that reason. I actually like the wine, it doesn't bother me, but again, I try to tailor to everyone in the house. Once the water comes to a boil, we're going to add our pasta, and we're going to cook it based off of the directions on your pasta box. I'm using spaghetti, so whenever you make spaghetti, it doesn't all fit into the pot unless you break it in half. This batch I did not break in half, so I will just stir it, and as it cooks, it will then all go down into the water. If you're using another type of pasta, it will just dump right in. If you're, let's say, penne, you won't have that problem. But if you are using, say, fettuccine noodles, you're going to have the same issue. While we have our pasta cooking, it's time that we start working on the sauce. So to a skillet, I have added a stick of butter and about a quarter cup of olive oil, and I'm going to add the garlic that I already had prepped, and I'm adding probably about 5 cloves of garlic, and I'm using my garlic press. I use this garlic press all the time. I do love it. I've had this garlic press since the early 2000s. Shout out to Pampered Chef. I'm not being sponsored by them, but they do have great quality products. They're expensive, but they do last. I like adding my garlic while I have my butter melting. It just helps to infuse that garlic flavor into the sauce better. Once we have all of the garlic in, and I let that cook very slowly. Again, you do not want to burn your garlic, so you do not want to have your heat on high. I have my heat on very low for this process. I'm now giving my pasta another stir, and as you see, all of the pasta now goes down into that boiling water, so now it will all cook evenly. Now it's time to stir the garlic, butter, olive oil mixture. And at this time, if I were adding white wine, I would add my white wine. I would add about a quarter cup, and I would turn my heat up so that I could cook that wine off. It would take about 3 to 5 minutes to cook the wine down. Since I'm not doing that, it is time for me to add the lemon juice. I am going to juice 1 lemon. I seem to always have an issue with the lemon press, and I'm trying to get all the lemon juice out. So you see me flipping the lemon so that I can get as much of the juice from the lemon that I can. Once I add the lemon juice, it will be time to start adding the seasonings to the sauce mixture. I will start by adding about a quarter teaspoon of red pepper flakes to the sauce mixture. I am very, very conservative on how much red pepper I put into the sauce. I can always add more at the end in my personal bowl if I want it to be a little bit spicier, or if someone else wants it to be spicy, they can always add more seasoning to their own bowl. I also add a little sprinkle of thyme, probably again about a quarter teaspoon. I do add some garlic powder to the mixture. Even though that I do use fresh garlic, I still add the garlic powder because when we add the butter, the olive oil, whenever we add the pasta water and the bouillon cube, it kind of dilutes it. So that little bit of extra garlic powder just amps up the flavor. And again, as I will always say, I always add less seasoning, and then as I continue on, I will taste it. You can always add more. You can always add, but you can't take away. That is the golden rule with cooking. Always add less, taste it, and then you can add more. If for some reason you don't like thyme, you can always add basil or oregano as a substitute. Now I'm adding 2 chicken cubes to the sauce. I added about 1.5 cups of the pasta water. That is why I'm adding 2 chicken bouillon cubes. The chicken bouillon cubes also will add flavor to the sauce. This is also why I don't add a lot of salt to the sauce, because I'm adding the chicken bouillon cubes and I'm adding other seasoning. And that's a sprinkle of onion powder and garlic powder and the secret seasoning. If you don't want to use the chicken bouillon cubes, you can always substitute the chicken bouillon cubes with chicken stock. I'm cooking the pasta al dente. I'm giving the pasta one more stir before the timer goes off, and then I'm going to give the sauce another stir and make sure all the chicken cubes are broken up. That's the timer going off for the pasta. That means the pasta is now ready to be added to the sauce. The pasta will finish cooking in the butter garlic chicken stock sauce, and the pasta, in addition to finishing cooking, it will thicken up the sauce and it will absorb a lot of the sauce. Being very careful, this is a pasta pot, so the strainer is actually in the pot itself, which makes it nice. I just have to take the strainer out of the boiling water and then I can dump my pasta right into the pot with the sauce. I'm going to leave the water boiling because I did not thaw out my shrimp, so I'm going to need to heat up the shrimp in the boiling water. So once I put the strainer back into the pot, I will be adding the shrimp. Again, the shrimp is already pre-cooked, so it just needs to basically thaw and heat up. So it only is going to take a few minutes, and then I will add the shrimp back to the pasta and the sauce so that I can gently toss in all the shrimp so that the shrimp can be coated in the butter garlic chicken stock sauce as well. Being so careful during stirring so that I don't make a mess. This skillet that I have is a deeper skillet, so it does hold 1 pound of pasta. That is what I did cook, and I did use an entire, I think this was a 2-pound bag of shrimp. I did cook the whole bag because my son likes a lot of shrimp. I like shrimp. John likes shrimp. We all like shrimp. And we will have enough for leftovers for the next day for lunch. So I also want to have enough shrimp so that I can serve shrimp with the pasta for lunch the next day. If you're serving this for dinner, it does serve between 4 to 6 adults, depending on the portion size that you dish out and depending on any sides that you might have to accompany it. If you're going to have friends or family over for dinner, it's nice to have a side salad with maybe a side of garlic bread to add to the pasta dish, especially if you're having more people. It does stretch out the pasta and the shrimp a little bit more, because the more sides that you have, the less pasta and shrimp you're going to need to dish out. I just added a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese to the pasta dish, and I did add a sprinkle of salt and pepper. Now that our shrimp is done, again, I said I'm going to add it to the sauce and the pasta, and then I will gently be stirring it in. Once the shrimp is added to the pasta and I have it all stirred in with the pasta and the sauce, the next thing I need to do is I need to add my fresh cut parsley to the dish. I add this for flavor and for color. Look how pretty that's starting to look. I will stir in the parsley very gently, and now it is time for me to start plating up our delicious shrimp scampi. And once I have the amount of pasta and the amount of shrimp into each bowl, I will get a spoon, a bigger spoon, and I will spoon in some of the delicious sauce to the pasta. And as a final touch, I added some freshly grated Parmesan cheese to each bowl. I'm also going to add some freshly grated Parmesan onto the side of tomatoes. Once you have your desired amount of Parmesan cheese, which I do like a lot of Parmesan cheese, and a lot of times at this point I'll stir in my Parmesan cheese and then I'll add more to it. That's just my preference because I like a lot of cheese. And there we have it, friends. Easy shrimp scampi with a side of garden tomatoes. It was quick, it was easy, and it was fun to make. This shrimp scampi cost about $23 total to make. If you add on a salad and garlic bread, it would cost about $33. That feeds about 6 people. If you would go out to eat, that would cost you about $108. Look at the money you're saving. Thank you for watching the DIY Home Cook. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and share this episode with your friends and family. Until next time, have a blessed day.